Hey, what's up, guys? We are back with episode 2 of my PHP intro series, and today we're going to go over if statements and pretty much completely cover them so you guys can know how to do everything with if statements. I know it's only the second tutorial, but I like to show some fun stuff so you don't get bored just like, oh my god, will we ever get to do anything fun? So we're going to do if statements and variables today. So we're going to go back to our index file. And I forgot to mention that this is located in your applications, MAMP, htdocs, YouTube, or where I made that folder, but you can just put it right in the htdocs, make an index file. So here we go. So the way you start off an if statement is you put if, and then you put two brackets. And that's where you're going to be putting in, you'll see, that's where you'll be putting in your statement. And right here you'll be putting brackets, and this is the code that will be executed if the if statement is true. So right now, let's just put in like if, let's put if 5 equals, and the way you do equals in an if statement is you do a double equals. That checks for equality. If you do a single equals, that sets something to something else, which we'll get into in just a minute when I go over variables. So if 5 equals 10, echo high. Well, we all know 5 doesn't equal 10, so it shouldn't show anything, right? I can remove this right here, by the way. So it doesn't show anything. It doesn't say hi. So if 5 equals 5, then it should show something. And boom, it says hi. So let's get into variables and do a little bit of stuff with variables. So the way you set up variables in PHP is you use the dollar sign. Yeah, because you're rich, you got cash. So let's set dollar sign, let's set test equal to, I don't know, what do you want to set it to, guys? Let's set it to YouTube. So set it to YouTube. And the way you always do stuff in PHP, as you can see here, is you always add a semicolon after each statement of something that you do. So if you echo, you got to put a semicolon. Anything has a semicolon, except for if you're doing an if statement and it has code brackets, you're not going to put a semicolon there. So then let's say if test equals 5. So we know test doesn't equal 5 because, well, YouTube doesn't equal 5. So then let's say if test equals testing. Well, I know that wasn't a very good variable name, but I'm horrible at making up stuff on the spot. So let's say testing equals YouTube. So then both of these variables equal YouTube. Oh, there's an error? Oh, wait, nothing worked? Ooh, that's because you can't forget your semicolons. It messes things up. And if you guys use Coda, there's this really cool plugin. I'll link to it in the description. If you hold Command-Shift-V, it shows no PHP syntax errors, and you can go right here, plugins, PHP, and then you can validate it if you can't remember that long keystroke. You can tidy it up, but I recommend just learning how to tidy up your code on your own. So as you can see here, I have it pretty tidy. I feel weird saying my code's tidy, but anyways, you want to start, anytime you have an if statement, you want to put a tab and start coding the next line. It's just good form. And also right here, see how this kind of looks? It looks okay, right? But if we added spaces and made them the equal signs at the same spot, especially if you're naming off a lot of variables, it just looks better. So now you know how to do basic if statements. Now let's test this out. So the way you do an or, so if you want to say if test equals testing or 5 equals 5, then it will do this. So right now it'll work without changing anything because 5 equals 5. But if I changed YouTube to this, so now it's saying if YouTube equals YouTube, so obviously that doesn't equal, right? But it will still work because it says if that's true or this is true. And there's one other way you could do if statements. You can do and. So obviously if we do and, so if these two equal each other, which they don't, and 5 equals 5, then it will echo. And boom, see, it doesn't work because these aren't equal. But obviously if I went back and just changed this to YouTube, it would work. And you can make this really long. It gets real complicated if you're doing like big social network stuff like file systems and crap. So I can do if or. So now it'll work if I have if testing equals this and 5 equals 5 or 6 equals 6. So this is probably getting real confusing. Oops, I just clicked the wrong link. That's my personal website. So see, it still works, but when you get to real complicated stuff like this, you need to be putting brackets around your code so that you can see, so that you can understand it better. This will make sense more if you're, the longer you get used to programming, the more advanced stuff we do. This is a little too advanced for only our second tutorial, but this way it'll be like if testing equals testing and then it does this part on its own. You guys remember in math, the arithmetic operators, parentheses comes first, so it'll check if 5 equals 5 or 6 equals 6. And then that'll be, if that's true, then it will be like if test equals testing and true. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's how you declare variables, all that stuff. In the next video, I'll be going over forms and stuff, so that'll be where it gets to be fun, where people can put in their own stuff on your website and you do something with it. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hope that wasn't too confusing. If you need me to clarify on something, let me know in the comments.